Part of the journey is the end.
Channel. If you're new here, welcome. So today we're doing the second makeup tutorial, if you count Captain Marvel, in my Avengers Endgame series. I am so excited to see this movie. I don't think I can stress enough how intensely excited I am to see this. Pray for us. And also, just a quick disclaimer, because I know that when I'm posting this, the movie will already be released. Keep the comments a safe place. If I see any sneaky comments trying to spoil it for anyone, I'm gonna be on that like a ham sandwich and just delete them, because I'm gonna try and spare you guys so that you guys can properly enjoy the entire video and not worry about being spoiled by anything. So anyways, in honor of Avengers Endgame, I thought it'd be really fun to do an Iron Man inspired makeup tutorial. So we got some nice Iron Man inspired makeup paired with an Iron Man suit body paint. So anyways, if you guys are interested in seeing how I can achieve this Iron Man inspired makeup look, then just keep watching. Hey guys, so to get started, I'm going to be taking my Buckle Bunny Beauty Fringe Benefit Primer and applying this all over my face to prep my face for my foundation. I'm going to be taking my Milani Conceal and Perfect in light beige and just applying this all over my face using my IT Cosmetics Airbrush Blurring Foundation Brush. Next, I'm going to be taking my Buckle Bunny Beauty Cream to Powder Foundation in Mocha and use this as my cream contour. So I'm going to be applying this to all of the areas that I want to deepen and add a shadow. So this is under my cheekbones, my forehead, my nose, and my jawline. Following that, I'm going to be taking my ColourPop No Filter Concealer in number 10 and using this to highlight and brighten the areas that might have been a little too dark from the contour. This is going to go under my eyes, my forehead, under my cheekbones, my cupid's bow, and my chin. I'm then going to be setting my face using my Airspun Translucent Powder. Before we move on to eyeshadow, I'm going to be taking my Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish Primer and using this to prime my eyelids before going into my Morphe James Charles Unleash Your Inner Artist palette, taking this light nude color, and I'm just going to be sweeping this all over my eye to help set that primer. Then I'm going to be taking the red eyeshadow from the palette and I'm just going to be building up this color by packing it onto my eyelid. I'm going to be sweeping this all over the lid except for the outer corner because that is actually going to be having a lighter color later on. So you want to avoid that just so that it doesn't happen to be too dark. I'm then going to be taking my orange eyeshadow and apply this to that open area before going into this nice salmon color and applying this right in the middle between the red and the orange eyeshadow to help blend those two together. Then I'm going to be going into my ColourPop No Filter Concealer in white, and using this, I'm going to be creating my cut crease. I personally recommend patting motions. I was not using the best brush for this. Mine had started to separate a little bit. The best brush to use for creating a cut crease is to use a flat synthetic brush that isn't too separated, so that way you can have a nice even line without it starting to fray in any sort of way. I'm then going to be going into my yellow eyeshadow, and using this, I'm going to be packing this right on top of the white concealer. Something to keep in mind is you definitely want to pack on the eyeshadow as soon as you finish with the concealer, so that way the concealer doesn't transfer onto any part of the eyelid that you don't intend it to be. The eyeshadow is really going to help set that in place so it doesn't move. Going back into the salmon eyeshadow, I'm going to be applying this right after the yellow eyeshadow like we did before to once again help blend this into the eyeshadow that we laid down earlier, and then go over it with a clean fluffy brush just to kind of help blend all of that together. I'm then going to be taking this light khaki color, and using this, I'm going to be applying this right above the red eyeshadow to help blend this into the brow bone area, where I'm going to be taking this glitter white eyeshadow and just applying this under the brow. Next, I will be taking my NYX Epic Ink Liner, and using this, I'm going to be creating a nice sharp wing for this eye look. Moving on to the lower lash line, I'm going to be going back into the yellow eyeshadow and just applying this all over the lower lash line before going into my orange, applying that from the outer corner and blending it in towards the inner corner of the eye. And last but not least, I'm going to be going back into the red eyeshadow and mostly applying that to the outer corner of the lower lash line. Jumping on over to the face makeup, I'm going to be taking my Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette, taking medium and dark cocoa, and just using this to chisel out my cheekbones and help set the cream contour from earlier before jumping back into my Maybelline Lasting Drama eyeliner in black and just tightlining my lower waterline. I'm going to be taking my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer and just applying this all over my face to help bronze it up before going into my Physicians Formula Butter Blush in Plum Rose and just using this to help add a little bit more color to the contour from earlier. And for my blush, I'm going to be using my Buckle Bunny Beauty Honey Bunny Blush and just applying this to the apples of my cheeks. I'm going to be going into my BH Cosmetics Spotlight Highlight Palette, taking Dream and Glow and using this to apply highlight to my cheekbones, my nose, my cupid's bow, and even the inner corner of my eye as well to help brighten that up. I'm going to be prepping my eyelashes by curling them before going into my Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara and just sweeping this through my eyelashes while waiting for my false eyelash glue to dry so we can apply that later on. So for my lips, I wanted a nice bold red lip to complement the eyeshadow, so I'm going to be taking my NYX lip liner in Brick House and just outlining my lips before going into my ColourPop Disney Villains collection, taking Evil Queen and just applying this all over my lips as well. And the amazing gloss I use is the ColourPop Disney Villains collection Shadow Man lip gloss, and once again, just applying that all over my lips. Moving on to my false eyelashes, I'm going to be taking my Sephora Hipster Lashes and just applying that onto my lash line. Moving on to body paint, I'm going to be taking my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, and using this, I'm going to be outlining Iron Man's suit. Now, of course, there are plenty of suits that Iron Man has gone through throughout all of the movies, so these are the reference photos I used to try to replicate into makeup form. Of course, you can choose whatever you want. These are just the ones that appealed to me the most, and that I could definitely see how I was going to translate this in makeup form, because otherwise I would be completely lost, because there are so many details in the suit, and I have never really done a full-on suit that is metal before, so in order to try and tackle that, this was really interesting to try and get that texture as opposed to a cloth texture like I did in my Captain America body paint and my Captain Marvel body paint. Next, I'm going to be taking my Mare on Paradise paint in red and going ahead and starting to fill in the neck piece of his suit. Now, something I decided to do is I didn't want to get confused because the neck piece is actually two separate pieces, so I decided to go into my Mare on Paradise paint in black, go ahead and create the little crevice in between the two pieces just so I wouldn't lose sight of where it is. Later on, I just decided to leave that as a blank space, and that actually helps make this whole process a lot quicker. But for this, I just decided to use a black body paint instead of leaving it open, but I will just say leaving it open is a little bit easier to kind of keep track of and figure out where your lines are going to be, but I decided to just go back into the red body paint and fill in the rest of the suit in the areas needed, leaving the open spaces for black or yellow body paint. Next, I'm going to be taking my Mare on Paradise paint in red and mixing it with some of my Mare on Paradise paint in black, and I'm going to be creating a burgundy color as a shading color for the suit. This is very important. Shading and highlighting is very, very important for any kind of clothing item or body paint in general. This is really going to help add more dimension and make it look more 3D and lifelike. So I'm going to be focusing this shading color around the center of the chest so it can give a nice curve to the suit, and also up by the shoulders and the neck. You want to apply this closer towards your back, so the highlight is going to be closer towards your front, so it looks like it is actually curving inwards towards your body. You also want to apply a little bit of this onto your shoulder pads as well. Next, I'm going to be taking my Mare on Paradise paint in black, and using this, I'm going to be filling in all of the negative space that we have left on our body, with the exception of the circle in the center of our chest and the little areas closer down by our elbows, which are going to be gold later on. We're then going to be filling in our heart by using our Mare on Paradise paint in white and just filling in that circle in the very center of our chest before moving on to Mare on Paradise paint in yellow. And using this, we're going to be applying this to the areas that we're going to be having gold body paint. This is just going to leave a nice opaque base, so we don't have to use way too much Mare on metallic gold, because that would be a waste of product when you can have a nice opaque base to start off with. I'm then going to be going back into my Maryland Paradise paint in white and using this to apply the highlights to the suit. Just a good idea is anytime you're doing highlights or shadows on a body paint and you don't really know exactly where the light would hit this, definitely use your reference photos because that gives you a great base to kind of get an idea of where the light in the studio or the scene is hitting the suit, and then you can kind of just replicate that however you want. A good rule of thumb is to always apply highlights to the areas that are going to be highest or that are going to be closest to the light. I'm also going to be using my black eyeshadow from my Morphe James Charles Unleash Your Inner Artist palette, and this is really great to add a little bit more lifelike definition to the body paint by just applying this around the shoulder area to really help give that nice natural shading. And following that, I'm actually going to be taking these two brown eyeshadows and applying this right above the neckline of the suit. This is going to make it look like it is actually lifted off of your body. And this suit actually doesn't have too much gold detailing on it, but it does have a little bit. So I'm going to be taking my Mehron Gold Metallic Powder and the mixing liquid, mixing those together and just applying this to the areas that have that nice gold detailing that the suit has. I actually wish that this had a little bit more, so I did take a few creative liberties, especially in the neckline area, to just add a few little gold gadgets. I really wanted this to be a nice reflective area to kind of help bring the suit to life a little bit more. And last but not least, I'm going to be taking my two gold NYX crystal liners and applying this to the eyelid area where we mostly have the yellow eyeshadow to really add a little bit more gold sparkle and bring the eyeshadow to life. And that is the completed look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see next. Also leave a comment down below what other two Avengers makeup looks you think I have coming your way. I'd love to see what your suspicions are because I already have them filmed, and can I just say, I think you guys are going to love it. So anyways, with all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!